Step into the arena, RCMP Plus. It's not luck, it's logic. Bang, that's a power bomb move right there. Light it up, baby, feather. Woo, that's fantasy fireworks. Buckets, baby. Ain't no rivalry like an RCMP rivalry. From stats to smack talk, where trash talk meets true talk. It's not just fantasy, it's legacy.
Welcome back to RCMP Plus Fantasy Hoops. Week 1 is officially in the books, and man, what a wild start. Points everywhere, drama already bubbling, and a couple of GMs acting like it's playoff time in October.
Oh, it's already spicy, Tommy. We had monster performances, blown leads, auto-drafters in shambles, and a few guys talking like they've already got the chip locked up. I love it.
Yup, and shout out to the top 3 performers of the week. Wemby came out looking like a cheat code with 2, 4, 7 fantasy points.
Giannis wasn't far behind, with 213 vintage Greek Freak numbers. But my personal surprise, Austin Reaves dropping 195. I mean, Donuts GM might have drafted him for vibes, but he's paying rent in the box score.
Yeah, that's a top 3 that'll make any GM jealous. Wemby, Giannis, and Reaves. Not exactly the trio anyone expected after draft night.
Except maybe Pinguini's GM, who's probably refreshing the scoreboard every 10 seconds, just to make sure Wemby didn't somehow score again.
Man's probably got Wemby alert notifications on his phone every rebound, every block, every meal.
But hey, week 1's about making statements, right? And we got some clear ones.
Let's get into it. Week 1 recap. Power bombers flexed, ballers fumbled, and a couple of teams might already be on fraud watch. Let's start with the big dogs power bombers handled business. 1,027 to 880 over the ballers. That's now 3 straight seasons without losing an opener.
SGA came out looking like a man on a mission, and that new supporting cast of Franz, Allen, and Duren looks rock solid. You can tell that roster's built for points.
Meanwhile, the ballers. I mean, Jokic was fine, but LeBron and Zion didn't bring enough juice. For all that Jokic is the GOAT talk, you gotta back it up with wins.
Yeah, if you're gonna talk like you're the dynasty team, you can't be outscored by 147 points in week 1. That's not a statement, that's a cry for help.
Then we had Guardians versus 2 balls, 1 hoop. What a matchup. Guardians put up 1,028, but 2 balls edged them out 1,061. Giannis and Jaylen Brown went nuclear.
And that keeps Guardians' streak alive 3 years. Still no week 1 win. At this point, it's tradition.
Padfoot Toes versus Jokey, Thigoat, AD, and Siakam led the GOATs to a 1,111-point explosion. That's how you start a season.
Yeah, Jokey the GOAT came out like he had something to prove after that auto-draft mess mid-draft. Maybe it helped. Sometimes you gotta let fate cook.
King Cobras dropped the biggest score of the week, 1,151. Dunkin' Donuts never stood a chance.
King Cobras' guards went crazy. Trey, Mitchell, Paolo, all in rhythm. Meanwhile, Donuts GM might already be Googling how to undo a draft.
Alphas over Z Tigers, 1,082 to 855. Huge statement. Tigers just didn't have it this week.
And shout out to Notre Dame time, they edge out the Pinguinis 962 to 940. Close 1, but that win matters early.
Yeah, especially for a GM who went on auto draft halfway through. That's what we call accidental excellence.
Drafted in his sleep. Still 1-0. That's gotta sting for Pinguini's GM.
All right. Week 1 brought some early lessons. Power bombers stay elite. Cobras are scary. And ballers, you might want to mute the group chat for a few days.
Or double down. Because nothing says confidence like trash talking after dropping 880.
All right. Time to shift gears. Scores are cool. But you know what makes fantasy basketball elite? The drama.
Absolutely. And we've already got our first league controversy of the year. Guardians GM versus basically everyone.
Yeah, word is Guardians. GM lost his mind when he realized we switched from the old waiver wire to a weekly free agency budget. No more midweek panic adds its Monday, bids only now.
He tried to stage a revolt, hit up the Ballers GM like, bro, we can't live like this.
Yeah, trying to spark a movement, like he's leading the players' union. Spoiler alert, nobody joined the rebellion.
Look, I get it. You lose a guy midweek, you want that replacement fast. But honestly, the FAAB system's cleaner. Budget strategy adds some skill to the chaos.
Exactly. You've got to plan ahead. This ain't the Wild West anymore.
Still, Guardians GM might be keeping receipts. Watch him drop 80 fab on a backup center next week, just out of spite.
I'll take that over another trade rumor. And speaking of trades,
here we go. The whispers are flying already. Apparently, Notre Dame Time GM's been working the phones trying to pry Luka from his own roster to the Guardians.
Yeah, I heard that too. Dude's already trying to blow up the team one week in. Maybe he's got trade addiction, like he can't go 7 days without swapping a star.
It's wild. But honestly, Guardians GM probably would take Luka just to feel something after losing week 1 again.
And Notre Dame Time's also rumored to have poked at Z Tigers right after that VJ Edgecombe pickup. I mean, Edgecombe looked electric.
Z Tigers GM said no chance though. That rookie might be the find of the year. Crazy athleticism, points upside, and instant fan favorite vibes.
We've also got some team-to-team alliances forming. Apparently, Ballers and Notre Dame Time have some kind of buddy-buddy pact going on.
Oh yeah, the so-called Brotherhood of the Bronze Trophy. Two teams who think if they can't win, they can at least help each other finish ahead of the Cobras.
Speaking of Cobras, the smack talk between them and Ballers is already elite. Week 1, and they're acting like it's the finals.
King Cobra's GM's probably texting memes of Trae Young waving goodbye after every game. And Ballers GM, still out there tweeting about Jokic being the best player alive after losing by 147 points.
That's what we call commitment to the bit.
Meanwhile, Donuts GM might be questioning his life choices after that loss. He's like, maybe I shouldn't have drafted 3 guys who share the same position.
Don't worry, he'll be fine. Reaves put up 195. You gotta cling to something.
Let's end this segment with some quick pickup shoutouts. Z Tigers landing VJ Edgecombe might be the move of the week.
Power Bombers grabbed Con Canoople's sneaky stash play. And Ballers scooped up Ozer's third brother, OK Thompson, keeping the Jokic team fully in brotherly vibes mode.
Love it. The early waiver gems are always where titles are built.
Exactly. Week 1 set the tone and we're just getting started. All right. Moving on to week 2, we've got 6 matchups on deck and a few spicy ones that could shake up the early standings.
Yeah, it's that part of the season where everyone's pretending they're calm, but you know they're checking scores every 15 minutes.
Let's go game by game. Who we got first?
Power Bombers riding high 3 years in a row, never losing in week 1. They dropped 1,027 last week, and they're rolling again after picking up Ron Holland.
Pinguinis, though, man, they just can't buy a week 1 win. 3rd straight year, starting 0-1. But that Keyshawn George pickup shows they're still fighting.
True, but Power Bombers are looking too consistent. I'm calling it now 2-0 streak lives.
Agreed. Bombers by 80. Pinguinis better hope that FAAB system saves them. Now this one's personal. Notre Dame Time tried to pry VJ Edgecombe right after the draft, and now they face him head to head.
Z Tigers got the player, Notre Dame got the revenge narrative. I like that energy. Plus, both these teams are aggressive on waivers. This could go either way.
Still, Edgecombe looked like a breakout waiting to happen. Tigers 1-0, and I think they go 2-0 here.
Upset alert, I'm taking Notre Dame Time. Cedric Coward pickup, plus that secret Luka trade rumor energy, he's out for blood.
Risky pick, but I respect it.
Okay, this is what we're calling the Frustration Bowl. Both these teams took L's in week 1 and need a bounce back.
Guardians, GMs, still angry at the waiver rules, might try to protest mid-matchup.
Padfoot's got Jaime Jaquez Jr. now, though. Great pickup, steady stats, and some upside. I'm going Padfoot here.
Yeah, Guardians need to show me something before I pick them again. Padfoot by 60. Now this is fireworks. The King Cobras looked nasty. Week 1, biggest blowout win of the week. Meanwhile, Jokie Thegoat auto-drafted halfway through, but still pulled off a W.
That's the Jokic magic, man. Team basically runs itself. But the Cobras are talking nonstop, and they backed it up. They're dangerous.
Jerami Grant for King Cobras could be sneaky solid too. I'm calling another W. Cobras go 2-0.
I'll take Jokie Thegoat in a nail-biter. Jokic drops a 200-piece and steals it late. Now this one's interesting. 2 balls, 1 hoop. Came out the gate hot with 1,061 points. Dunkin' Donuts, on the other hand, maybe a little bit of draft regret setting in.
Yeah, I think he drafted with his heart, not his spreadsheet. Donuts GM's like, how did I end up with 3 backup forwards?
Reaves saved him though, with that 195 dude was cooking. But I think 2 balls, 1 hoop keeps rolling.
Same. That's a top-tier roster early on. 2 balls, 1 hoop by triple digits. And the final matchup of the week, the Alphas versus the Ballers. Both put up solid week 1 numbers. But Ballers need a bounce after that loss.
Ballers picked up. Okay, Thompson, so the Jokic propaganda is stronger than ever. But Alphas are just deep. They look like a real playoff team already.
Yeah, that's the sleeper squad. They might mess around and take the 1 seed if they stay hot.
I'll still take Ballers though. You know, I can't bet against Jokic.
You and every analytics nerd alive. I'll stick with the Alphas balanced roster wins the week.
So there you have it. Week 2 is lined up and the trash talk's already heating up.
I just hope the Guardians GM doesn't file a grievance before the next fab run.
Hey, if he does, we'll cover it right here next week on RCMP Plus Fantasy Hoops.